Welcome everyone to Tint Wisdom number 76. And today we're going to be talking about 8 rules to kick ass in the window film industry. These are 8 rules that'll not only help you kick ass in the window film industry, but they'll also help you kick ass in real life. So we'll go through all 8 of them and how they apply to window film and how I see it. And then of course, always open to questions in the comments. Look forward to it, so don't hesitate if anything comes up on topic or off topic. So just give it a couple minutes for people to get in here. While we do that, I did want to say thank you to Carrie for this T-shirt as well as some other T-shirts that. What's up, Mitch? Mitch Goldman. I'm glad you made it in here. I appreciate you watching and always commenting after the fact, but it's nice to see you in here live today. So I was just thanking Carrie for this shirt and a whole bunch of others. I wore one on Tuesday's Tint Wisdom, and I have 4 or 5 more. So I'll keep wearing them, and they're super comfortable. And thank you, Carrie. As far as buying them, I know she's getting her website's launching. I think in about a week it'll be Tint Life with a Y. In the life, so TINTLYFE and tintlife.com with a Y, and she'll be launching that, like I said, I think a week or so, and you'll be able to buy these, or you could also message her, and she's got a whole bunch of designs. And what's cool is the artwork's drawn by her, so it's like super original artwork, and it's very industry specific and so on. So yeah. And Sean Roach said, number 1, be like Dean Mitchell. Which I agree. That is definitely a way to kick ass in the window film industry. It's too late to add that one now, but that would have made a perfect 9th, like number 1 of the 9. So looks like we have a little crowd in here, so I'll get started and pull that up. And Vinny said, nice shirt, awesome, I like it, thank you very much, and compliments to the designer, Carrie. Carrie's a if you need something done for your website, she handles websites, she handles design, and she's somebody who has an intimate knowledge of the window film industry and also an actual, thorough understanding of graphics. And it's not just somebody who can I know how to use Photoshop. It's somebody who understands the structure of graphics and, the eye placement, logos, colors, and so on. And, a combination of actual experience and training in graphics. And then you have window film knowledge that she provides, an experience, and you combine those together, you get a solution for graphics and websites that you can't just find anywhere. So if you need something done, revamped, shirts for your shop, or a wall graphic for your shop, or shirts for your staff and yourself, even a vehicle wrap. We've talked about vehicle wraps before. You're talking about, you got design, you got print, and you have install, and you're probably going to end up somewhere around $3,000 when all 3 are said and done. But what a big return you get, not just on additional calls, but just the overall impression of your company. And that's going to extend to customers' impression of your company, but also your own impression and your staff's impression of your company. So yeah, your staff and the people you hire and bring on, they have their own impression of their company, and they have their own idea of where your company's going and what opportunities lie in that company and so on for them. And stuff like vehicle wraps and uniforms, it puts them in the right mindset to know that, hey, they're working for a professional company that's invested in their company, that's obviously doing things right and so on. So it's worth putting out the money, because the way it pays you back is every way. And that's what it's about. So, when you're able to deploy some money, a few $1,000s, and then get a return on it, potentially for the rest of your business for 5-10 years, it's a no-brainer. You have to do it. So make sure you put that money aside and use it. Vinny said, I need her help. Shoot her a message. In line with what Mitch is saying, as far as she chooses you, you can't choose her. Get to know her good people. She's very, very good people. And, I know she doesn't just work with a million clients. She has a handful of clients. She has a certain amount of time, and you do want to make it on her list. So one of the things I recommend when using Carrie's services is, hire her and use her for her expertise and her design. So if you have certain colors or brand specifics that are important to you, you definitely want to communicate that with her. However, when she comes back to you with a design, you want to trust the designer that you hired because you want her experience, you want her eye, you want her to love it, you want her to be passionate about like making that design, and she's going to do that when she's doing something that she knows like is badass, and like that's what you're getting with her. You're not getting a robot who just does XYZ what you want. You get somebody's experience. So like what I think the biggest mistake people make with designers is with a designer that actually knows what they're doing, you want to trust them. You want to let them handle it. If you could see it another way, well, see it their way and let them run with it. And I think that's one of the big keys to getting really great results from a designer, because you see it often with like vehicle wraps is somebody wants to put a million things on a vehicle wrap, and at the end of the day what you end up with is a Frankenstein vehicle wrap. And you get beyond just a logo, a phone number, a website, and a tagline, and you start saying, well, I want to list all my services, and I want to tell people about me, and I want to put a ton of pictures. And before you know it, you have a rolling collage of bullshit that nobody can really make out for what it is. And once you go down that path, I'm speaking for her, but I just feel like any person's going to lose their passion in that project. And I think the way to do it is to put trust in the designer. Hire somebody that you trust and then trust them. But if you don't trust them, don't hire them. Go with somebody else. Mitch said he wishes she would do an episode. So she promised to do an episode in August. So I've locked that in. And then I usually touch base with her at least once a week and see if I can pressure her into doing one sooner. But I think August is going to actually happen. And Brian, you're so welcome. You're just super welcome. Thank you for making the post and sharing it, but I just hope you enjoy it. It's a really quality product. We're talking about a tint keg, and I say my experiences with tint kegs. I know there's a bunch of other brands out there, but my suggestion is whatever brand you go with, just go with it. It's just a great product, and you don't have to figure it out yourself. And it really does add a convenience level, whether you do flat glass or automotive. Having water on demand like that, all set up in kind of a large quantity of 5 gallon, it really works. It was one of the things that we made sure every one of our flat glass installers had in their van. They'll take a little a little air pump with them that they can plug into their vehicle, whether it has a power inverter or they plug it into the cigarette lighter. And that way, anytime they can keep their tanks full, they can go up, do the job. They have plenty of water, and it's just better than spray bottles, and refilling. And the same for automotive. So, Mitch, or before I jump into the 8 rules to kicking ass in the window film industry, I did want to just ask Mitch, if you don't mind dropping in the comments why you added Nipsey to the beginning of your name. I've been curious since you did, so I don't know if this is a good time to ask. But Vinny said, where's the best place to get the tint keg from? So I reached out to Brittany. Let's see. Brittany. What's Brittany's last name? It is Brittany Green. So I reached out directly to Brittany Green through Facebook Messenger. But I'm certain if you Google tint keg and then like window tint, their website's going to come up. I'm pretty sure like they'll be on sundistributing.com or sundistribution.com, which is their tool distribution and so on. So yeah, Sun Distribution, Brittany Green, Google it, and got it. And it's probably the resemblance, right? Like I know, Mitch, you posted a pretty unfortunate incident, but I guess it's a physical resemblance as well. I didn't know if there was a different statement to it or whatnot. And in your picture, it's a great picture. You're wearing one of the Iron Duck design shirts, which I have as well, but I can't wear on the live stream because of the green screen behind me, and the shirt has green in it, so it would look like I have an invisible chest. So all right, let's get into this, and we're going to talk about these 8 things. And again, these are 8 like life things, but we're going to relate them to window film because I do believe that mindset is super important. So, you're going to work every day, you're doing the physical actions that you've gotten used to, that are best, and you're doing, but your mindset can just shift you over a direction and change the game for you. And, it's not all about changing the game, but it's about making steps in that right direction. So I want to go through these 8 like life rules, but how they apply to window film is what I thought would be cool to, talk about today. So let me switch scenes, and here we are. Let me move over a little bit. So first one's pretty simple and easy, but it does mean a lot. So it's see failure as a beginning, not an end. So what I want to relate to this with window film is 2 things. first and foremost, think of your first failure as, think of like when you first tinted a window and how not good it probably came out. It probably wasn't for a customer's car. You probably didn't touch window film, and the first, time you put it on, it came out good. That was, maybe somebody could look upon it as a failure. So my very, very first time I tried to tint my 91 Honda Civic Si windows when I was 16. I don't know if I even used water. I think I bought the stuff at AutoZone, tried to put it on the car. I didn't get any of it on the car. And then when I realized how much money I wasted with that roll and how I'd gotten nowhere, it was a failure. So at that point, that's a failure. But we all know, if we're in this industry now, that that's not where it ended. And you continue from there and you get good at it. And then it becomes an enormous opportunity. And, most of us will say being in the window film industry is a passion, it's a love, but it's just this huge opportunity. It calls to you. And that's why so many shops are family owned. And that's why so many shops stick to just window film, because, it's a passion. It's not one of those it's rims. It's rims is rims. I put rims in tires. It's really something unique. So what I'm saying is, you didn't give up with your first window tinting. So don't give up when you run into other perceived failures, like failures in hiring, failures in marketing. If you try to do your web, your web stuff, your social media, your website, and so on. If you try to do that and you kind of feel like you might have failed or you're frustrated, see that as the beginning to an enormous opportunity. And the same goes for hiring. Hey, you spend some time, you train somebody, you put some money into them, and then things don't work out. That is an opportunity. You just got to learn your first lesson in employment, or your 10th lesson in employment, whatever it is. You just got to learn a lesson. So you need to keep moving and taking that lesson forward, because there is an opportunity there and you're already down the path. The person who hasn't experienced that failure yet hasn't gone as far down the path as you. You're way ahead of them. So it's not a failure unless you stop. I think that's a really, really important one. I'm just saying, I love that one, because that was why it was the first one I wanted to bring up, because, it's so easy to stop at the beginning of things, but nothing good is easy at the beginning and you just nail it. Like that, there's just nothing to things like that. So the next one is, if you don't go after it, you won't have it. So whatever it is, you need to define it. You need to understand what you want. And if you're not, if you don't know what you want yet, there's nothing wrong with that. So, that's what life is about, is experiences leading you to things that you want. And the point being is, if you do have that kind of angst inside, that frustration, you're saying, I want more, whatever it is, try to define specifically, what do you want? Do you want to make more money? Do you want more freedom with your time? Do you want to be doing something different? Do you want to be managing people? Do you want to be left alone from customers? Figure out what it is specifically you want. And when you're able to figure out what you want, you're really at 90% of the way there. And then from there, you're going to be able to fill in the blanks of, hey, how do I get what I want? What's in between me and that goal? And when you're going to get that goal right away. I really think once you really define what it is you want, getting there is no problem. And then from there, you're going to find something else, and you find something else, and you're going to build on them. So it's important to set goals that you really, really want, you're really passionate about, but set goals that are obtainable. So if your goals are to live on a private island, you don't want to start with that goal. You want to start with something a few steps forward, something you really want, something you think will maybe lead you to that private island. But if you put too big of a goal in front of yourself, and you focus too much on that, it can be difficult to take those steps. So, what I'm saying is, figure out the things that you want that are, talk about, you could achieve them in a few months, most likely 6 months, a year, whatever it is, and start working towards those goals, and you'll get there. But if you don't identify what you're trying to work towards, you're just going to probably do something similar day after day. And that's like autopilot mode. And autopilot modes, we're all in it. Some of the times we get in that autopilot, but that repetition of day in, day out, but you want to snap yourself out of it, because the magic happens in those other bursts when you're not in the autopilot mode. So that's why a lot of times, if we think back, from where we're at right now, if you kind of think backwards to, pivotal times, you think about shifts. I was fired from my job, or I rented a place that was beyond what I thought I could handle, or I went all in on something, or, I lost my best employee, and these are all the times that boom, they shift you. So you want to wake yourself up from that. And part of doing that is knowing your goals and knowing where you're headed so you can get there. Number 3 is always do more than expected of you. So, this applies to you any way, any shape, any form, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're a friend of a tint shop and you're somehow found your way into Tint Wizdom. You want to do more than is expected of you. Looking at the first step, you handle clients. If you can exceed your clients' expectations, if you can do a little more than they were expecting, however that is, whether you were a little more polite than they expected, your shop was a little more clean than they were expected, you threw in a sunstrip or you gave them a bottle of water, any way you can do a little more than they expected, you're going to really elevate that experience for them. That's going to lead to good reviews. That's going to lead to referrals. We know what that does. But the point is, you have to go a little beyond their expectations. Now, you can do that with even your relationship with your manufacturer. So, you have let's put it in the eyes of a tint shop. You have a manufacturer rep that you talk to. How do you interact with that rep? How friendly are you? What do you talk to them about? What kind of things do you say to them? So you can become their favorite rep. They can you're their favorite dealer. They can look forward to stopping by your shop or calling you. That could lead to leads coming from that manufacturer to you because they know you're going to handle it well. These are specific examples, but they're examples of you don't lose when you do more than what is expected of you. So you want to do that in all instances. Always look for how you can do more. You want to give more, you want to do more, and it's a win-win. It's easy to do, it feels good. You feel real good about yourself when you do a little more than was expected, and when you earn somebody's praise and you really earn that referral, it makes you feel good. So, it leads to success in business and it makes you feel good. To me, it's just a way to live your life, because if you're going to do something, don't you want to do things that make you feel good and lead to other people feeling good, and then that combined leads to success? That there really is an easier path, and doing more than is expected of you is part of that, those ingredients. So even if you're just, you're working for a tint shop, show up 10 minutes early, leave when the job's done, not when the day's over. You don't have to leave at 5. You could leave when the job's done, because that sort of thing, it's a whole impression. Wipe things down, organize things, show them that you know how to do things better than the boss. A lot of times, an employee of a company will say, if only my boss would listen to me, or you're able to, as an employee, you're able to identify a lot of things that could be better. You properly communicating those things or implementing them, that could be the difference between opportunities and raises and you owning your own business. And you can't really predict how much goodness is going to come from that, but it's only goodness. So just do it. So number 4 is going to be assume nothing and question everything. So this is, Mitch just said, leave the job cleaner when you got there. Exactly. You want to give, like he said, leave the job or give back that vehicle cleaner than when they got it. Because, what they're going to be looking for, if you have somebody in your house, especially if you're talking about a nice house with some wood floors maybe, and it was just recently painted and this and that, what they're going to look for is people in the home. They're going to look at the tint, of course, but they're going to look around and they're going to see, did they make a mess? Is there stuff on the floor? Did they scuff up the floors? Is there water on the wood floors? They're looking around and wondering what kind of shit you did into their house, especially if you go in there with a 2 or 3 person crew. So you leaving it in a better condition, not just the same, is going to alleviate that sort of thing. So wipe things down, make it better. It really, really, really makes a difference. I want to throw in one more thing that I'm going to write a article about on Tint Wizd's website. I'm in the middle of writing it, but basically it falls in line with leaving the job cleaner than when you got there. So, one of the things comes up a lot is vehicle check-in forms, as a liability thing. So not like a disclaimer, hey, if we ruin your back window, we're not responsible. Not that. What I'm talking about is somebody's dropping off their car, you're intaking their car, and you're going to do a little walk around on it and make sure that if there's a scratch or there's a scuff on it, you note it beforehand. You check the wheels, you check for any curb rash or anything like that, because what can happen is somebody has their brand new car, they just got it, and they didn't notice. They thought it was perfect. And then you take it, you go tint it, you return it to them. They inspect it like a diamond, and then they notice a little scratch on the wheel, and you say, I didn't do it. And the thing is, you probably didn't do it, but they didn't notice it until you touched it. So now you did it. So what I'm getting at here is people often ask about what's a good template for an inspection form. And I'm going to actually post a paper, a printable version of an inspection form for anybody who wants to use it. But what I'm going to point out in that blog article is The right way to do it, the best way to do it is you take your phone, you video, and you say to the customer, okay, so we're going to take your car. We do a video walk around so we can point out any imperfections in the vehicle on video. And that's so that we can make sure that we return your vehicle to you in better condition than you left it with us. And, and you do that video walk around with them and you point them out with the video and you do kind of like a little slow video walk around with them. It'll take a minute or two. The thing is, when you do a video, you have a video of the vehicle, you're going to be able to notice things after the fact that you might not have checked off on a piece of paper. So check piece of paper, you're basically saying, hey, if I didn't mark it, it wasn't there. You're almost agreeing to damage that you missed. Whereas a video gives you the opportunity to look back and see, hey, was that ding there? Was that scratch there? Maybe you missed it, but when you're looking through it with a video, you're giving yourself the best proof you can. And then if you're a Tint Wiz user, you just upload it with the customer's vehicle, or like in their project, you just upload that video. That video, those pictures, those before pictures will live there forever. And if they call back a week, a month, a year later, you always have that video to show them the before, and then you can do one after the fact so that they know what it looked like after. They don't leave and then call you back 6 hours later and say, hey, there's a scratch on my car. You get the before, you get the after, you upload it, and you're done. And that's the way to do it because, Mitch said, you get your customer to sign off on a checklist. Doing a walk around with them on a video is just, you capture so much more. So imagine if you were in a car accident, right? And you wanted to prove it was their fault. Like they hit me and then, they're even acknowledging it. You'd want to pull out your camera and video the positioning of the cars and where everybody is and anything they're saying. And you'd want to get it all on video. You wouldn't want to take out a piece of paper and sketch the scenario out because that could leave questions in the future. And the questions are eliminated when you have it on video. So, video is so easy to do. You literally hit a button and then you just act yourself and you move it around. You can film them. You can film your car. You can point things out, film the car. Like it's so easy. It's the most simple thing. It doesn't require paper. It doesn't require anything. It just requires your phone or your company iPad. So, there's going to be a blog article. It'll be in the news section of the Tint Wiz website. So that's that. It'll turn into a video. Let's move on to number 4, which was assume nothing and question everything. So the way I want to relate this to window film is when it comes to best practices. So, I think that was a strength for me was I kind of went into this. I went into this with a partner that was extremely experienced in the window film industry. That's how I was introduced into window film, was through an existing business that brought me on. And, that gave me a library, a resource of great information. But I always just looked at things the way I wanted to, which was, what do I think's the best way? Not what's the way the other shops are doing it, not what's the way it hasn't been done, but just imagine, what are you trying to accomplish? And go, what would be the best way? What's like the most current way? What's the easiest way? Because the easiest way for you is often the easiest way for the customer. And sometimes processes that you just assume or ways have to be done just complicate things. They complicate it for you. They complicate it for the customer. And, a video walk around is kind of an example. Because, if you tell me I'm dropping off my car at a dealer at a tint shop and you tell me, hey, we're going to do a video walk around because we really, we care about the vehicle. We want to make sure you get it back in the exact same condition it was in. And we'll make sure of that. So we do a video walk around. We attach it to your client profile. So we always have it on record before and after. You're giving me trust that you're not going to mess up my vehicle because look at what you're doing. You're videotaping it. That sounds current to me, technologically current. It sounds, accurate. Like, wow, there's no room for error there. Awesome. Now, let me give you a flip side. You hand me a piece of paper with a diagram and you start marking things all over my vehicle. And then you tell me to sign there to waive any, any complaints that I could have about damage to the vehicle. I'm like, whoa, what's this? Okay, well, are these damages really there? Are these light? Are they going to be worse? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different impression and it's subtle, but really what's easier? Taking a video or printing out papers, going to grab them, putting it on a clipboard, having a pen, handing it to the customer, having them rub their nose with the pen, then handing it back to you. Like, none of that's easy. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go, oh, we forgot to print more. Or where is it? Or where's that one? Or, it's like the whole thing is just not like, it's not the easiest way. So it's a perfect example for assume nothing and question everything. Question the processes, the way you do things that are easy, that are high quality, that make sense for your customer. And don't go out of your way to be difficult. Try to say yes to your customers and try to make it easy. That's assume nothing and question everything. That's how you have innovation. That's how you have growth. Second, you start assuming things, you don't question how to make them better, you give up on that, you know? What's up, Robbie? He said, just came in. I'm going to start from after dinner. I'll check in. Always appreciate you, Robbie, stopping in and saying hello. And we will jump into number 5, which you can already see a preview of, which is make peace with the past. Oh, shoot. What happened here? All right. I think I messed it up a little bit. All right. There we are. All right. Number 5 is make peace with the past or you'll pay for it. So the past is the past. You want to take a lesson from the past, but don't let yourself fall into this repetition of like, oh, this guy screwed me over, or oh, this is how the industry is, or oh, I got fired from that shop and they're the worst, or this and that. Take the past out of your head. The past should just be a lesson you learn, nothing more, and learn from it, use it to your advantage, but don't let some negative past narrative play in your head, because that shit is a waste of time. It is a complete waste of time. Haas said, I ask any question to the customer I could think if they were the customer because it can add profit on the job. Yeah, you got to ask. You got to think for your customer. You got to think what questions are they thinking, and then you should think what questions are they not thinking that they might want to be thinking. And the more questions, the more you talk about things, you're earning the trust of the customer. They know what they're doing, and I'll tell you, there's a huge percentage of customers who they're looking for people to work with, people they like, people they trust in their home or trust with their car, and people that they form a bond with that seem to really know what they're doing. And that happens by talking to the customer, by communicating with them, by talking to them on a level they understand. Like, that's a big part of what makes sales. And sometimes it's you go into a job and you focus on the money because you're doing it for money a lot of times. So you're like, I got to make money. This is a big house. I know they're not going to want to pay, but I need to make money on this job. So it becomes in your head about money, and like you put it in your head about money. It wasn't money about the job necessarily wasn't about money to them. It was about solving a problem that they have. So get in there, earn their trust, and help them understand your pricing, and that works. Number 6, stop thinking and start acting. So this is one of those things that, you plan and you think and you this and you that, and like you just got to jump in it. Just jump in it. I'm not saying make rash, irrational decisions, but sometimes you have to just sink or swim. And if you're thinking about hiring somebody, hire them. Go see how fast you can do it. Go get on Craigslist, make an ad. Type up an ad when you're waiting in line at Starbucks, or when you have a few minutes and you're scrolling through Facebook. Close it out and open Notepad. Or if you see another company, there's so many tint shops on Facebook that are hiring. So when you're in a tint group and you see a tint shop post an ad that they're hiring, copy and paste their ad into your Notepad. Now you have an ad, and you can use that ad and post it on your Facebook or post it on Craigslist or Indeed and see what happens. And you never know, but by just doing these little things, maybe you don't have a ton of time to interview, but by putting the ad out there, maybe you find somebody that's a perfect fit. But you have to try and do it to open yourself to that possibility. So again, stop thinking and start acting. You want to offer a new service? Offer it. Get it printed. Put something on your wall. Get it on your website. You need a website? Hire somebody to do your website. You can hire iMagnet Management. You can hire Carrie from Iron Duck Designs. Just off the top of my head, those two. I'm sure there's a lot more in the window film industry, but those two, both of them can get it done. So if you're like, well, I need a website, but, just say, hey, I need a website. I need you to get it done. I need a logo. I need a full branding package. I need folders. I need a car wrap. We're going to do it in stages. I want to do it. Let's do it. Tell me what to do. You handle as much as possible and just get it done. And before you know it, the ball's rolling and you're doing what you needed to do. But don't let the things you need to do kind of build up in your head and become this enormous task in one day, because something that maybe takes you one day and you do it, you do it this year, it could be done maybe this week. And what an enormous difference over the course of your life having making things happen quickly is compared to this year. Here's the thing. We're halfway through 2020, right? So check this out. We're halfway through the year, halfway through 2020. I'm going to give it a round number. We all have about 20 years that we'd like to think we can work. Now, some of us are going to live longer and have more than 20 years. Some of us don't have 20 years in us. But even 20 years, you only get 40 more of these. So what just happened from January to June, those who have 20 more years, we get 40 more of those instances. So January to June, that shit flew by, right? That's going to happen 40 more times, and we're done with our work career on this earth. Like for our 20-year folks. But try to put in that perspective. If you're in the 50s and you have 10 more years of working, that means that January through June, that's going to happen. If you have 10 more years, that's going to happen 20 more times. That's it. That's it. So when you start to like look backwards and you start to say like, hey, I've been in business 5 years and okay, look how far I've come and look how fast it happened, but that only is going to happen another 2 or 3 more times. Like, come on. The time's passing. Like that's something that is on my mind all day, every day, is the fact that this is I'm not going to say it's a one-time experience, but like what we're doing right now, like me, you, your family, your pets, your kids, like this version of it's probably a one-time experience as far as we know, and time's ticking by. So let's make it happen, all right? So stop thinking so much, start acting. You can always revise as you go. You don't have to plan the perfect scenario. You learn as you go, you revise as you go, and you grow, and you move in the direction that experience takes you. You can't always plan so much up front. You kind of have to let experience drive, captain the ship. Never compare yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others, I think the saying is you're getting a snapshot, like you're getting their highlight reel, and then you're comparing it to your behind the scenes. Like the idea is like you can't compare yourself to others. Everybody's in a different journey. Everybody's in a different place. Everybody's scenario is different. So if you're going to look at other businesses, try to look at their businesses and those people for the things that they're doing right, so that you can adopt those. So if you see, like I'll tell you right now, if you're doing flat glass, you better wake up early. If you're an employee, you're a crew, you're going to operate your crew. 7 a.m. is the time to start jobs for flat glass. 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. If you're getting out to flat glass jobs at 10 or 11, well, that's something you can learn by looking at the other guy and saying, hey, he's getting out there earlier. Maybe they're doing the right thing. If you're seeing, hey, my competition has really nice vans, you say, well, maybe I need really nice vans. So those are the ways to compare yourself to others, but not compare yourself and say how much better they are and make yourself compare yourself on a level, because, there's problems at every level. There's problems in every business. There's good and there's bad. And your journey is your journey. You want to get better today and tomorrow than you were yesterday and the day before. So you want to learn from others, but not compare yourself to others in a way that makes you feel less valuable or more valuable. So that's a really, really important thing. Mindset's everything, and you can take giant leaps in business too. You can take a business that's been in business for 30 years, and you can make leaps in 4 years and become double the size of that business. So it's not all about time. It's not all about looking at them and going, wow, I pity. They have so many employees. They have so much staff. They have so much this. They have such a nice website. It's about, hey, I'm going to get better. I'm going to look at that, learn from it, and I'm going to take it 10 steps better than that. So, that also ties into always do more than expected of you. Don't do average. Do the absolute best. Try to be creative. Try to push it a few steps in that direction, because, that's how you really succeed. So before we jump into number 8, Jeff asked, how old's the oldest tinter that's still tinting? That's a great question. And Mitch said he had to do it in 2018, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Can't remember his name, but but he was there for the speech. Mitch was there for the speech. 76 years old and has been tinting for 57 years. Well, that's fucking badass. 57 years. I want to ask him if he gets massages if he works out, how his joints are, and how he took care of himself, because that's a long time to be doing any repetitive physical activity, especially if he's actually tinting for that long. So that's freaking awesome. All right, number 8 is what's going on here? Oh, there's no number 9. So here, we're at number 8, which was the 8 rules. So this is the last one, and it's teach others what you know. So teach others what you know. This is, if you're thinking the obvious and you're thinking the feel-good part, that is part of it, but that's not the whole thing. So teaching others what you know certainly makes you feel good, share the wisdom, and I think good vibes and that sort of sharing with people, sharing positivity, learning from people, teaching people. I think that has that's the right energy to put out there. I think that pays back in droves, and I definitely think you should do it. But there's even more. So you actually improve your own skills when you teach. So you, by teaching somebody else, when you go through the process of teaching somebody else, explaining something, showing them something, by teaching, you will actually sharpen your skills. So if you're looking for a way to get better, a way to kick ass in the industry, there truly is no better way than teaching others. Teach others online, teach others in your shop, your staff, teach whoever you can teach. But by teaching, you will see that you'll sharpen your own skills, and you'll also send some good juju into the universe that will pay back. So, it kind of ties into that. Some of the ones from before, like doing what's more than what's expected of you. And, it's just one of those things, like, you can just do it. You teach others, it never goes wrong. You're never going to feel bad about it. If you help somebody and they don't appreciate it, that's not a problem. You sharpen your skills. And you, so a lot of times, even you just see things in a different way. You just see it down like a step further. You just got to do it. So it's number 8, but it's really number 1. Teach others what you know, and you'll see a huge value out of that. So that is all 8 rules to kick ass in the window film industry. And really, it's 8 rules to kicking ass at life. Rob Oranges said, teach others helps you sharpen and helps you sharpen and helps sharpen the industry as a whole. And that all comes back around for all of us. It absolutely does. It really does. I mean, when we do these like Tint Wisdoms, a lot of times you're talking to like somebody will we start off like, hey, where did you tell me how you got into the industry and so on. And, a lot of times there's that, hey, I learned from so-and-so. And, they were a mentor to me, and, they taught me the ways, and they gave me an opportunity, and it's huge. I feel like, certainly there's things that we're going to self-teach ourselves, but ultimately, we all learn from other people. So by spreading that, you're spreading like the best gift, in my opinion. Haas said, not going to lie, it's been super satisfying teaching my wife how to tint, since we're doing the family business, and what you said about learning while teaching is the truth for sure. Yeah, as you teach it, you start to even like you feel like an expert. You see it more clearly, because you take things that were in your head, that were in your hands, but you kind of define them by teaching them, and you kind of they become clearer to you. And it's cool that you're teaching your wife, because I do think this is more often than not a family business. And when you can involve your family members in it, it helps bring understanding as to what you're doing. It helps give them opportunity. And if it works for you, if it's a partnership that you can do working together, I think there's nowhere better to look than friends and family when you're looking to add to your team. So I would say, just if we're going to touch on hiring even, if you can hire friends and family, I think it's worth paying them more to grab them, because you already know their intentions, and they're going to have your best interest, and they know you have their best interest in mind. So like when you see a friend or a family and you can snatch them up, like that's an opportunity to pay them more and give them an opportunity that's way better than they imagined. And then you're going to have that pay you back way more than you imagined. And why I said pay them more is because I think what happens is when you have a friend or you have a family member, it can become like this weird instinct where it's like, well, I'm going to pay you a little less because you're a friend, or I'm going to like maybe from their perspective, I'm going to help you out because I'm your friend. You don't have to pay me as much, or you don't have to pay me at all. I don't mind. And the thing is, you want to pay them because ultimately everybody needs to be compensated for their time. And, it just comes with the territory. You're going to get a better job done, a better employee. They're going to love it. And it can lead to so much more when you're paying. So don't take the freebies from friends and family. Pay them and have them come back and do it even more and more because you're paying them. So like, an example would be somebody may help you part-time and they have a full-time job. Well, they go, well, I keep my full-time job, but I help them part-time, but I still have to earn a living. So I do my part-time job, or their full-time job, maybe by paying them for that 1 day a week or 2 days a week, they go, could I do this for you full time? I would make more money and I actually like it more. And, at the end of the day, you're looking to grow your team. It doesn't matter who you grow it with. As long as they're great people, they do a great job, you like working with them, they like working with you and you're happy. Friends and family, great place to start. And then Mitch said, Haas, I get frustrated trying to teach my wife. What's a good motive? What's a good motive to jump into that? So Haas, please throw in your answer there since you're so experienced with it because you're doing it right now. I hired my wife to help on the phones. She came on to help on the phones, and then she expanded to training, and then she ended up being a consultant, and it just grew from there. And I'll tell you, getting paid was important, getting paid from the company. So meaning if I didn't get paid from the company, if we weren't able to take a paycheck from the company, it's no problem. I don't mind at all. But she is an employee of the company. She's going to get paid. And that way, you just alleviate that. It makes things easy. The next thing is, treat her or him, if it's your husband, treat the person like you want to be treated. Like, treat them the best way possible. Like, treat them the way you want to learn. Like, nobody wants to get snapped at. Nobody wants to feel like you're frustrating somebody. So, like, you have to have patience when you train, whether it's your wife or somebody else. Like here's the thing. If you hire somebody off the street and you're training them, are you going to show them more respect than you're going to show your wife? You should show them equal respect because they're the same. They're both human beings. They're both in an opportunity. So, you can... I know it's tough sometimes, like you get snappy or you're high stressed or whatever it is, but like you've got to set that groundwork, whether it's your wife or your mom or your kid or your friend or your neighbor or somebody off of Craigslist, or somebody who knocks at your door. Set that groundwork that, hey, this is going to be an awesome place to work at. I got your back, you got my back. We're taking care of the customer. Customer's going to be happy and we're going to enjoy doing it. You have to put that in place. The second you start getting snappy or you start getting anything to tarnish that like team environment, things go downhill. So Mitch said, if I had an employee, I'd ask them what are their goals, what they hope to achieve or their goals. Of course, you want to understand, are they there for the money? What do they want to learn? You also want to maybe put some opportunity in front of them. You may introduce opportunities that they didn't know were even like an option, or, hey, you could own your own place one day, or hey, you could be tinting this type of vehicle, or, you could be a consultant or a salesperson. Hey, you can make over $100,000 a year. You can work your own hours. We have flexible schedule as a consultant, or there's so many ways. But don't you think you can apply that same question to your wife and say, hey, what do you want to do? You want to make the most money you can make? Well, if you want to make the most money you can make, this is how you do it. Do you want to talk to customers? Do you not like tinting? Do you want to do both? Do you like doing something different every day? Do you like being on a computer? Do you like being on the phone? Do you like being face to face? These are all things you ask your own wife, just like you would anybody. Haas says, my motive is her not having a job but staying at home with our 4-year-old in the last 10 months. But I'm also trying to get out of my full-time job. I've let her know the mess ups that will happen. Just got to push and keep level head, and we have to pay the bills. Yeah, I think that's well said. I mean, ultimately, I think a lot of times, like, coming from like a wife point of view, I feel like a wife is probably like, if you're tinting, you have a shop, and then you're looking to introduce your wife into it, it's probably because she sees how busy you are and how stressed you are, and she's like, I want to help. How can I help? So you find, how can she help? What's the easiest way to help? Can she answer emails? Can she help with the phone calls? Not everybody has to learn to tint, because if you're tinting and she's tinting, then, now you have two tinters, but there's other positions that can alleviate stress, Mitch, okay, so Mitch, you said, I have anger problems. I wish I wouldn't beat my wife that I love her. Of course not. But here's the thing. If you have anger problems, that's no problem. So, like, it's no problem. Everybody has things that they work on. But, like, that, and it's cool that you say it so, like, openly, and you're not, like, you don't try to, like, just pretend like it doesn't exist. So here's what I would suggest. You say, hey, wife, here's what I could help you with, or here's what you could help with. I want you to help me with XYZ, emails and phone calls and scheduling. I'm going to tint. You're going to do that. I need you to post ads on Facebook. I need you to answer and schedule. This is how long it takes me to do a car. So this is how many you can schedule in a day. I'm going to let you completely handle that. And while I'm going to go in and I'm going to tint the car. You're going to do the other things, or I'll talk to you start divide it and just divide it. Because the thing is, if you have anger problems, let's say, and you might get a little snappy with her, then you don't want to be tinting the same window with her. You don't want to be tinting a window and then going around and looking at her window. You want to be doing two separate things. So you want to pick something, whatever you're best at, you do alone. Do it yourself, 100% yourself. And then whatever you suck at, you let her do it, because you suck at it anyway. So she's going to do just as good or better of a job since you suck. So have her do the things you suck at, you do the things you're best at, then you're not going to cross paths, and then you're going to start to really appreciate her. She's going to start to really appreciate your work, and I bet you'll start to kind of have like less of a less of like overlays where you start to like get snappy. But if you're working over each other, man, who's not going to get snappy? I feel like that's, even if you have two very experienced tinters, like oftentimes it's better to have them work separately than have them work over each other because, people are people. And, so Haas said, if I can get her answering phones and messages, then we would be in business. That's it. So here's the thing. You tell her, hey, when the phone calls come in, you got to answer them. When the emails come in, you got to respond, right? When the Facebook messages come in, you got to respond. And then in your meantime, when there's nothing going on, you post ads on Craigslist and on Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is a killer for a free place to post ads. For your business. You're going to see it all over like landscaping and pool cleaning, and look at other businesses and look how they structure their ads and then put in ads for flat glass, for automotive, and you're going to see the phone will start ringing, and it's the same process. Schedule a consultation. If it's flat glass, go out there, measure, give them a quote. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. You can do it on maybe start posting on Nextdoor a little bit. Like that's another good one. But in the meantime, they can be your marketing department, and it's only going to keep you busy and it keeps them busy, and you're not overlapping each other. So that's that. So that sounds like a pretty good place to wrap up today's 8 rules to kicking ass in the window film industry. I hope you enjoyed today's Tint Wisdom number 76. I enjoyed getting to do it alone and getting to chat, though I do really enjoy the guests. I also enjoy, kind of this one-on-one back and forth with comments. So thank you to everybody who commented today, especially Mitch and Haas. You guys commented throughout the entire thing. All right, a couple more. Haas said she's got to learn the films and prices, though. Once she gets that, I'm pretty sure she actually wants to learn tinting. So learning the films and pricing is pretty quick because you can just make a spreadsheet for her. Hey, these are the 3 films we carry. These are the 5 films we carry. And then this is the pricing. Make it easy. Like here's the thing. You see people and they'll go, oh, the prices change depending on the car, so you have to check with me. Don't do that. You just go, hey, all cars are this price except this. All SUVs are this price except that. Or you pick one price. You say all cars and SUVs, that's the price. Pick something that's easy that anybody can follow. Don't make a process in place that's impossible, like saying, well, you kind of have to know the car and the size of the windows and this and that. It all averages out over the course of time. So you don't want to put like complications in learning. So like if you're an automotive shop, if you're doing automotive mobile at your shop, you're carrying probably 3 films, good, better, best. So you can say, hey, this is good, this is better, this is the best. These are the 3 films. This is why, this is the pricing. And really what you want to do is get them in the door and talk about the entry-level film, get them in the door, and let them know that we have higher heat rejection films and all shades, and we can discuss the films. You can pick them when you can see them and you can feel them in person. So the best way is just schedule an appointment, come in, pick what you want, and we'll take care of you. And get them in the door, let them handle the rest, the person in the shop. So I'm saying from your wife's point of view, you don't need to know everything about films. You just break it down, make it simple. So Haas said that's true, but if they start seeing her, I got to read these in order. I'm going to go backwards a little bit. So that was in response to Haas saying you got to learn the films and prices, though. That is quick. Don't make that something that takes you a year to teach them when you could teach her in an hour. You could put together a Google Doc and just show, here are the films, here are the 3 films, here are the pricing. This is how you price. SUVs, strip, all sides in the back, 2 fronts, full windshield, good, better, best, boom. There are your films. She's going to learn it like that. Here's the thing, too. If she goes out there, she starts answering calls, she starts talking to customers that ask questions. Every time a question comes in that she doesn't know, she's going to get an answer to it. She records that as a question and an answer. She's going to have questions for you one time. After that, she's going to learn. So even if the first few weeks bring up a bunch of questions, it's better that she starts today or tomorrow than in the future, because realistically, if she starts today, in a week, she's going to have a week worth of questions answered. If she starts in a month, she's going to start from square one in a month. So I really think it's one of those things. Don't overcomplicate it. I know there's a lot to learn, but you can get started. So Mitch said, see, that's hard too, Eric. I've been in the area 22 years, so everybody wants to talk to me. Even though we've been together for 20 years, everyone wants to talk to me. I get that completely. But, it is something that you can just, I think Mike Burke actually said it really well on the episode we did with him from Sunstoppers. And, it's just one of those things. Number one, I understand everybody wants to talk to you, but not everybody wants to talk to you. All the people who have dealt with you in the past want to talk to you. But new customers don't want to talk to you because they don't even know about you yet. So the new customers could talk to her, and she could still talk to the customers to begin with. And when they want to talk to you, it gets elevated to you. But the people who don't and the people who she can help, let them help her. And she's going to siphon off some of that. And that's still going to free up some of your time. And that's a great way for her to learn one step of the way, one step at a time. So I get it, but you don't want to let that be. It's not a hard line. Some people will be happy talking to you. And she can say, hey, I'm actually Mitch's wife, Mitch's tinning, and I can help you, though. I know all about the films. I can get you scheduled. What can we help with? Are you ready to get your car done? And, there's going to be a portion of those people that are like, great. You know what I mean? And then there's going to be some that they're going to be like, hey, I've been talking to Mitch for 20 years. He's the only one I want to talk to. Have him call me back. You say, no problem. Let me get him on the phone, or I can get him to call you back, whatever it is. But it's a foot in the door. It's a foot in the water, whatever you want to say. And it's a way to still free up some of your time and start learning. So you definitely want to do that. So Mitch said, Haas, with me, you, Eric, we part of the Mama Duckies flock, quack, quack. So he's talking about Iron Duck Design and Carrie. Haas said that's true, but if they start seeing her there, and if you tell the customer that she did it, then they will see that both of you are badass. Thinking that customers aren't going to respect other employees, they definitely do. It's the way you present them and the way you treat them and you interact with them and the position that they have. That's going to be the way the customer views it too. So if you treat somebody kind of like a dumbass, then the customer is going to know that person's a dumbass. I don't want them near my car. But don't treat them like a dumbass. They won't feel like a dumbass. We always had, first of all, I removed myself from answering the phones in my business. I stopped. It was no more phones. We had a receptionist answer the phone. It was a team of 3 people. They answered the phone, and they were all women. And the first thing I told them was, you need to learn window film because you're going to unfortunately get the stereotypical people who are going to, there's just a portion of them, and it's not just guys. Some women feel this too. They go, I want to talk to a man. I need to talk to somebody in charge. So that's no problem. You can overcome that just by having that knowledge, by having those questions and answers. Hey, a simple one. I train them on, hey, if they mention, I want privacy tint for my home. Privacy, so you're looking for a one-way film, something that you can see out of naturally, but nobody can see in from the outside looking in. And they would go, yeah, that's exactly right. And when you hit them with that, I don't care if you're a woman, a man, you're 100 years old, or you're 10 years old. When you hit them with that, they know you know what you're talking about. So you just arm them with questions and answers and be okay with the fact that they're going to learn as they go. They're not going to answer everybody's question all the time. But if they don't sound frazzled and they handle it, they say, hey, that's a great question. I'm going to get you the answer to that. Let me put you on hold for a moment. Boom. And then now they know the answer for the future. So don't let that thing of they only want to talk to me, or, they don't listen to this, or, it's another thing that I came across, I've come across many times recently with somebody that was a Tint Wiz user, that they brought it up and it's how they handle it. I advised against it, which is, they have a receptionist, a secretary, and they have the secretary take the person's information down and they get a call back. The secretary can't schedule. They don't know anything about the tint, and they just get a call back. They're just a phone answering person. And man, I'm you have to educate them and enable them to be able to schedule, to be able to answer questions, because I don't want to talk to somebody who can't answer any of my questions. I just made a phone call. Me and you are on the phone. I need you to help me. I don't want you to just take my information and then get a call back. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, all right, cool, and I'm going to call another company. That's what I'm going to do. So your customers are going to do the same thing. So if you treat the person who's answering the phone like a dummy, and you tie up their hands and you don't let them answer questions and you don't enable them to do anything within the company, then guess what? You're kind of going to breed a dummy, and they're going to kind of feel like, my hands are tied. I can't do anything. I'm sorry. I can't help you. And when you get a customer who wants somebody to help them, their hands are tied. And that sucks. That's not the way to run a business in 2020. It doesn't work. So you definitely want to enable them. You want to put people in the position that can run with the business, that can help you. Because at the end of the day, we're looking for people to treat our business like it's their business. And you have to enable people, and you have to treat them like it's their business too. So, it really comes full circle. And, just to throw in, that's why something like Tint Wiz is incredibly beneficial. It's not just an organizational tool for you by yourself, which it completely is. But when you're talking about enabling people in your business to be able to schedule and to be able to look into customers and answer questions. They have to have access to it, and TintWiz gives them access to it, gives everybody access to it, and then it gives you access to be able to manage them. So, you know, that's why it's so important, and that's why, like, you know, it can be, you can think it's easier to just do it the old-fashioned way, just put it in Google Calendar or write it down on a piece of paper. But I promise you, there's so many reasons you don't want to do it. You have to get down that road of becoming organized, and you'll start to see how much efficiency opens up and how much giving people access to information solves problems that never needed to be a problem in the first place. So they start solving things that you didn't even know could be solved so easily, didn't need to be problems to begin with. So Haas said, happened today. Customer said, thanks for doing it. My response, my wife did them, but we appreciate the business. And it blew his mind. He said, well, she did a damn good job. And that's exactly it. He's propping up his wife. And, that's awesome. That's how you build that credibility. So good job, Haas. That's going up and beyond. Even just like you're triggering their mind because they're like, oh, you must have did that. And you're like, no, my wife did that. And they're like, wow, that's, wow. Like you're stopping them. You're stopping them in their tracks. They're thinking something. It's a positive thing. And they'll might even make them go, I'm going to go leave these people a review and, point out like, I point out like, hey, the owner's wife did the work and it was the best work I've ever seen in my life. And the next thing you know, somebody's coming in and saying, hey, I read about the owner's wife that did such a great job. I'd like her to do my car if possible. And next thing you know, it starts steamrolling like that. Like that's how that works is, you start to get good reviews. People read those reviews. They want to come to you. Well, if those reviews mention your wife or they mention a specific staff member, like all of a sudden, that's who they want to do the vehicles or their homes or whatever it is. And that gets the ball rolling. That's what makes a really good review. And that's what makes a really good business. So that's it. I hope those eight rules to kicking ass in the window film industry were a help. And that's that. So that's it. We'll wrap this one up. Tint Wizdom number 76, another one in the books. We'll see you on Tuesday and Thursday. I just want to thank everybody again for watching this, supporting it, the comments afterwards, the sharing. Like, I wouldn't stop even if it was just talking shit. But like, what I'm saying is, even if there were haters, I wouldn't stop doing this. But it feels super good when you read somebody appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like when you read a positive comment or somebody sharing it, or you see people thank you, like it does feel good. So I really appreciate the people who you take your time, you listen to this, you give it a thumbs up, you share it, you leave a comment. Like that shit goes a long way for me. So I appreciate it very, 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 very much. And I look forward to doing this again on Tuesday. So thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you then.